Hi, and welcome to another episode of College in Real Life, where we talk about issues and concerns for you, the student here at San Antonio College. My name is Felix, your host.
Hi, I'm Casey. I'm co-hosting.
And we have today with us...
My name is Roxana Vendaño. You guys can call me Roxy.
Thank you.
I am a counseling intern, completing my master's degree at Texas A&M here in the South Side. And I am here doing my practicum at San Antonio College, where I got my first degree, which is American Sign Language. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
And my name is Marco Mar. I'm one of the personal counselors there at the Student Advocacy Center. I started my work in counseling back at the UT Health Science Center and then moved here. But I've been working with San Antonio College for about 2.5 years. I started as an adjunct and then moved into this position.
Okay,
Awesome.
nice. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming from the Advocacy Center.
Yes.
So the reason we invited you here today is to have a conversation about the Student Advocacy Center, but specifically the counseling services that are offered from the center, okay? We hear this, this season and throughout the year, a lot of times students may have increased feelings of anxiety, depression because of either seasonal or with the finals coming on. What can they do to get counseling services, or how can that help them, is my question.
Would you like to answer that one?
Sure. So if a student is feeling the need to talk to somebody, they're more than welcome to come to the Student Advocacy Center. There'll be a lobby there,
Right.
and they will let them know I need to talk to somebody. So what they do is log in their banner ID, we set them up in the system, and then they will have to fill out paperwork. They'll take 10 to 15 minutes to fill out some paperwork. Once that is completed, then we can schedule them according to their class schedule to see where it best fits their needs,
Right.
and then we'll schedule them with a counselor right away.
Okay.
And that's it. They just need to show up to the session. They're 50 minutes long, so it's best to plan ahead so it won't conflict with their classes. So that's pretty much what they need to do when they need to speak to somebody, talk to a counselor, and get some mental health assistance.
Okay.
And I know you had mentioned finals. So right now, since it's the winding down of the semester, many people are, anxious and worried about tests, staying up all night. So one of the things that's important to recognize is that we need to take care of ourselves, not just physically, but mentally. So during this time of high stress and studying and trying to get everything done, and especially around the holidays too, we can feel overwhelmed. So speaking to a counselor is definitely something that can help during this season and during finals as well. So students can come and talk to us about just how to manage their time, how to manage the anxiety. I know when I was in college, I had a lot of test anxiety, so I would freak out and freeze during tests, and then I would leave test and feel really bad about myself that I knew it, I just choked, So coming to counseling to kind of, talk about that and work through some of those issues might be important before, but even during, it's something that people can just kind of get that sigh of relief immediately. So,
Yeah, I think a lot of our students, right, are juggling a lot of different things at one time. So, I think for many of them, stress and anxiety is just kind of the norm of life. What are some things that they might use to kind of just self-diagnose and realize I am a little bit more stressed out than normal, or what would be some signs that they could look for just to be aware and realize, hey, yeah, I should go and talk to someone in the counseling department?
Definitely. I think for anxiety, first and foremost is sleep, whether their sleeping patterns are being disrupted, not being able to fall asleep, not being able to stay asleep as well. So sleep is a big indicator of what's going on in our life, tossing and turning, not just the amount of sleep, but the quality of our sleep as well. If we get up 5 times during the night and just lie there and wait and think about what's going on until until we fall asleep again. That can be signs of being anxious as well. Avoiding certain places, right? Like avoiding your tests. So procrastination is a big one, right? That kind of gives you that little warning sign that maybe I am anxious about this subject, or maybe I have some sort of trepidation towards something, right? So procrastination and avoiding things. So those are a couple of the things that are kind of those, maybe I should go and talk to someone about this.
Another, I guess I wanted to jump on there and add that also they change their eating habits. They start not eating or overeating to that effect. There are also, you can notice that the student is not attending class. They already skipped maybe 2 classes, or they're arriving late. They're not groomed, they're not all there like normally. So they're not taking care of themselves. So those are other signs that professors or staff and faculty can actually notice, or themselves, the students can say, okay, something's going on.
Perfect. Thank you for jumping right in, because my next question was going to be, how would staff be able to observe what's going on with students? Yeah.
And since I was this faculty member, I think faculty and staff tend to have more contact with students than I or Roxana would. I mean, we're sitting at the Student Advocacy Center seeing students on a daily basis, right? Sometimes back to back for 8 hours straight. So we really don't get contact with that individual other than the 50 minutes one time a week, forever how long they come to see us for. But teachers and staff members see them every other day for an hour, 2 hours, in the hallways of buildings. So there are some signs that staff and faculty can be aware of, like Roxana was saying, maybe just the way they're groomed, right? Like I typically see the student that's very well dressed and hair's always combed, and today they just, they didn't look like their normal selves. So just asking them, like, I'm just wondering if you're doing okay, if school's going fine, if there's anything I can do to help you, especially also if they're seeing like drop in grades, sometimes I know as a faculty member I was overwhelmed with grading and trying to get everything done, that we really don't take a time to look at our spreadsheet and be like the D all of a sudden, like why they were an A student and just got a D. That's an indicator for faculty members to be like, maybe I need to reach out to this person because this is out of the ordinary. So I guess what Roxana was trying to say was like things that just stick out, like people say, oh, that's sore thumb, right? Like things that really just stand out to you. And the way to say that is just by pulling the student aside, and just voicing a concern, not necessarily saying what they're concerned about, but just knowing and letting them know that there are support services out there, and that they're willing to provide that help if they need it as well. I noticed that you've been getting really good grades, and this one assignment you got a D. Let's talk about that. What happened? And then that kind of starts the conversation.
Awesome.
True.
Thank you.
So receiving counseling, it sounds like is actually a healthy thing for somebody to do, to go out there, reach out and talk to somebody. For those who might perceive that there's like a stigma associated with counseling, what do you have to say? What do you say about that?
Well, I guess culturally speaking, we have a diversity here in the college. So there will be students that come in that maybe they're not used to, or the country they're from, they're now living here in the U.S., and their family or their parents, they don't agree with counseling because that's not what they did back then or in their culture. So when the student is coming in and to ask for that service, we want to have them paired up with their culture, not pull them away. So it's more like, okay, so you can further your education and better yourself. At the same time, you're still supporting your parents and you're still in touch with your culture. But this is something for you to better yourself. But at the same time, maybe once they get financially stable as a student and then start working, they can be financially supportive of their parents, family members, and in that way honor them and honor their culture as well. So we have to be culturally competent with the students and really be mindful where they're coming from, and the biases needs to be kept out.
So definitely highlighting that respect, culturally, a lot of cultures, especially, in cultures, even I would say here in America, it's very independent and we keep our problems to ourselves. I know that in the Mexican culture, it's very like, what stays in the family is the family's problem, but I would say that the stigma is out there, not just culturally, but also, as a more of like pop culture, right? Like what's out there and what people see in the mainstream is that mental illness is they're crazy, or everyone's bipolar, right? Like if you're happy one moment and then see you sad the next, you're bipolar. But it's like, nah, I just got news that something happened that I just don't want to be happy about anymore. Like it doesn't mean we're bipolar, because bipolar is definitely a serious mental illness that, of course, does not have to be stigmatized. Right? What we need to do is just recognize that, just because somebody's shy does not mean they're antisocial, right? Because antisocial in the mental health world means something completely different than that person is shy. So just recognizing our words and how we use them when we describe certain behaviors, emotions, and feelings, that it's not what you might think it is, because antisocial really is like a precursor to, as you know, and maybe you don't, but antisocial personality is what people that have committed murders and what your typical sociopath would be, right? That's what Hollywood calls it. So, someone who's shy is introverted, right? Not antisocial, right?
Exactly.
So just being mindful and really just the way I advocate for mental health is or try to destigmatize that. It's to let people know and just educate people that that's not really what you mean. What you mean to say is that person is a shy person, or that person is introverted, right? Not that person is antisocial. That's the way I like to think, and just tell people that and I think that really does reduce stigma, and it really does kind of open the floodgates to this is what it really is, and we can start having that conversation at that point when we realize what it is and how we can describe it.
Yeah, in the proper context.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of along in that same vein, I mean, I just saw a student a couple of weeks ago who had witnessed someone being killed, and he came in and kind of told me that it happened, and he didn't show much emotion regarding it. And I said, hey, like, we have an advocacy center on campus, like maybe you should go and speak with a counselor. And his perspective was, well, no, like, I've seen counselors before in the past, and it wasn't helpful. All they do is ask you, well, how do you feel about that? What would you say to a student with that kind of perspective? Now, granted, the end of the story is nice because he ended up going and seeing someone, and he is seeing someone on a regular basis. But to the student who's unwilling, what are some things that staff could say to students to encourage them to go?
I would say that maybe staff can just tell them, when you have a scab or something hurts, on your body, what do? You go to a doctor, right? Or you put a Band-Aid on, or you put some ointment so it doesn't get infected. So that's something that you do to intervene a possibly dangerous thing, like a gangrene or a full-blown infection, right? Or something that could, along the line, be very detrimental to our health. Trauma's real. Trauma happens to almost everybody. Emotions are real, and almost everybody feels emotions, right? Everybody does. We might not be able to recognize them immediately, but we do, right? There's the sad feeling, the happy feeling, the remorseful feeling, the anxious feeling, all of that. Is to just recognize what we can do for ourselves when our emotions are feeling a little out of the normal, or where we're feeling just a little bit overwhelmed, anxious, is go speak to a counselor, because that's our Band-Aid, that's our ointment, that's our doctor's exam, right? For our mental and emotional health is to see a counselor.
True. Right. And I think many of the students, especially the ones coming out of high school, are used to the counselors that are there, which are more on an admin kind of basis.
Right.
So it's more like, okay, let's get you through the high school, all your credits, and get you out of high school and graduated. So they have the idea that some of them, it could be that they have, I've gone to the counselor and it really doesn't work. Like, it's more of an academic kind of counselor. So coming over here to our Student Advocacy Center, it's a completely different kind of environment, mental health. The rooms are amazing. They look like living rooms. So it's for the student to come and be able to be comfortable in a safe spot, I guess, safe time for them, and they can express what they need to say.
And work through those issues. And
Yes.
Roxy, you're right. Some people do, especially students fresh out of high school, not to bash any school counselors or anything out there. I think what they're doing is very great, and they have a lot on their plate because of just the way our education system is. But the fact that we do fall by the wayside when we have all these other administrative duties going on, that's how they see their first counselor, right? Is the school counselor that enrolled us in class, and that nobody really spoke to other than when we were trying to get our schedules fixed, right? Or when we were trying to get a schedule changed because we didn't like that one teacher that totally caught us skipping class or something, but knowing that we're there and we're there to help.
My high school experience.
And not all counselors are the same. As a counselor, I can say that I've had some very interesting counselors, some that have helped and some that have not. Not all one shoe fits all. And, my style might not be effective for somebody, but Roxy's style can be 100% effective with that person. So really, I'm not saying go shop around either. I'm just saying try to find someone that do your research first of all. What is it that they do? Try to get some more education on counseling itself and what it's about, rather than having that kind of preconceived notion that all they do is schedule me, or all they do is tell me how you feel, right? That word might come out a couple times, but there's more grounded work in counseling than just talking about feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good response.
Yeah. So it sounds like counseling is a safe, comfortable environment where you're being respected and privacy is like always above everything. So good.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm glad. Thanks. So in addition to counseling, you all also offer case management. So sometimes items may not rise to the level of, well, I need counseling, but I need case management to help me with X, Y, and Z. You all do offer that as well.
Definitely.
So,
Yes.
okay.
So I'm really glad that you brought that up because I'm the crisis coordinator there at the Advocacy Center, and most of the students that come in crisis, I have noticed in my practice that they're there because something happened to them. Whether it's a mental health crisis or even just an environmental crisis. My lights got shut off. I cannot pay this bill. My car's gonna get repossessed. I got a flat tire. And this just typically spins into this is going to happen, and we start thinking in this all or nothing, kind of mindset. So people come in and they say, I need to talk to somebody. So they turn to a counselor, right? Because we're the ones that talk to everybody. And then I'm sitting and I'm listening to some of these students, and I'm just like, I don't think I can help. I think you need to go to case management. Like, they're the ones that have all the resources. I can help you. After you get this done. But what help am I going to do if you can't even get to my appointment, right? When your car tire blew out and you need it fixed and you don't have any money, right? What am I going to do when you have 2 kids at home that aren't being fed because your benefits have lapsed and you were so busy doing things for school that you didn't have time to renew them? Well, case management can help do your public assistance application. An emergency aid fund, we have emergency funds that provide these types of fundings for students so they can stay in school and stay enrolled and eventually reach the finish line of graduation. So case management is there. They're available. They can help with an array of things. I don't know if it's here, but so emergency assistance, WIC, TANF, Medicaid, SNAP, all of that is done through case management. And I call them the real heroes, you know, because they come in and save the day, and you know, and it's true. I utilize them a lot because I do hear that in my crisis sessions where it's like, you know, I'm about to get evicted, you know, and I'm going to be homeless, you know, or I am homeless and I'm coming to school and I don't know where to sleep tonight, you know, and it's like that's really tough, you know. What am I going to say there? Tell me how you feel. No, I'm gonna call that case manager and be like, I have a student here that, you know, that came to me in crisis, and this is what's going on. What can we do to help them immediately, right now, in this moment, you know? And then afterwards, maybe they can come back and do a little bit more work on, you know, the different types of skills that we can help them use, that we can help them with to cope, or to even just kind of look at their situations to just, you know, facilitate the strengths that they have and capitalize on them later on.
Right.
Can y'all talk a little bit more about? I mean, you were just explaining how the setup is whenever students go in, and that it feels like a living room. Can you just talk about the center itself and what a student would, you know, find whenever they go and visit with you?
Yeah, sure. When the student comes into the Advocacy Center, of course, there's going to be a lobby, and there's going to be, you know, one of our student advocates there supporting, kind of welcoming them here. Welcome to the Student Advocacy Center. What services are you looking for? The first thing we have there is a grab and go. So a student can go get a snack once a day. Every day for the rest of the semester.
Wow.
So that's the first service that we provide there. The second thing would be counseling, mental health counseling. We have the case management. We also have in the center, we have something called the store. So it's like a little, you know, grocery store. You go in and they just fill out some paperwork, but they can do their shopping. If they're struggling at home and they don't have, you know, they can't provide that food for this week or for next week, they're more than welcome to come fill out an application and go into our little store, and we have little carts, so they can go fill their carts, and they go out with 2 bags, you know, food for 2 weeks, so they can come to visit and get groceries twice a month, and hygiene items as well once a month. We also have the magic closet, and it's like a nice fancy retail store. So you go in, and then you can, if a student doesn't have, like, for example, like lab coats and stuff like that, we do have that to provide them. They can return it at the end of the semester if they are not going to use it anymore. So they're welcome to keep it if they're going to continue with other classes similar to that one. But there's clothing for men, women. If somebody has children, we have some children clothing as well. So they're more than welcome to go there as well to the magic closet. Am I missing something?
Yeah, sure. No, you got a lot of them done. But one thing that we did fail to mention was the baby safe upstairs.
Upstairs, we have baby safe.
So we have a baby safe upstairs, which is a sex, pregnancy prevention and sex education. So we have you know, condoms available. We have a program that they can see about, you know, safe sex behaviors, about pregnancy, the facts about pregnancy, all of that, and they have a lounge, you know, that you can sit, you can go through the program, so it's grant funded, so they do want to gather some information, so you go through this program, and then they'll follow you and ask you more questions later on down the line, but you receive a gift card, you know, I don't know what the monetary value of that gift card is, but you get a gift card for participating, but you learn a bunch of information, valuable information, that is also a really big part of mental health, you know. If we're out there and not really taking care of ourselves, as in, you know, using the proper protections when we're having these, you know, it's normal, right? But we can be, we can feel like anxious or even depressed about some of the things that we may have done, or we fear that we might have, you know, gotten an STD that we do not know about. So we connect them with resources as well. You know, STD testings in the community, pregnancy testing in the community, all of that. So even if you are become pregnant or feel like you might have an STD, they can drop by there and get those resources, so we can get them connected to the proper agencies that'll provide, you know, the medications that they need. So all of those services are available: the grab and go, the food pantry, the clothes closet, case management, counseling, baby safe, all of that. And it's all available to you, the San Antonio community, faculty and staff at no cost. And the reason we came about it, the fruition of the Advocacy Center was definitely because the need was there. Of course, the chancellor had this initiative to kind of provide this service to the college community, but our numbers outgrew tremendously. So we're located at the formerly called the Center for Academic Enrichment, which now has changed its name to the Advocacy Center. And there's a really cool sign there now.
Big sign.
And shout out to KSYM because we just got speakers that will be playing their music, right?
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so we're really trying to have it to be welcoming, you know, and the attention, really the spotlight on this is a place that you can come receive services because we're aware that on our campus there's an 11% homeless population, right?
Wow.
So students, 11% of our students that took a survey that we have, that we administered, it's called the Hope Lab survey. We found that 11% of those people who were surveyed were homeless, still attending school, so they need those supports, they need that food pantry, they need that clothes closet, right? And that 44% of the student population that took that survey is housing insecure. Am I getting that? Food insecure. And they're food insecure, not housing insecure. 44% are food insecure, which basically means that they don't know where their next meal is going to come from. You know, so imagine, you know, you're back in college, right? You have like a full, you know, schedule of classes, 15 hours. You're trying to take this like really big math test that is make or break for you, and you don't know where you're going to eat afterwards or if you even had a meal, right? And you're hungry. You can walk into the Student Advocacy Center at the Grab and Go, get something to get something in your stomach to hold you off until after the test, and then go back and shop for food, right? You get 2 bags of groceries that you can take home so you can you know, prepare yourself. And that's what we're here for. We're here because we did find that need and we want to provide students that need that support, the support. That way they can finish school and graduate and do what they came to school for, which was to improve their life, improve their well-being, improve the quality of life.
Yes.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing. I mean, it sounds like just the one-stop shop for any need that a student could have on campus.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you guys have a number of success stories, right? Or just students who have just benefited so much from it. So it sounds really awesome. Yeah.
So we do thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate that the Counseling Center is here and available at the campus for sure. And I'm happy that we're able to talk about the referrals that you all offer. I do want to make a mention of the crisis text line. So even if a student is not available to come like in person for the counseling, this is another resource that we've talked about before. Crisis text line, all they have to do is text 741-741 help to this, or excuse me, hello to this number, and they can just text with somebody anonymously to get the help that they need. So I think, you know, in addition to what we offer here at San Antonio College and the work that you all do, I think it's amazing. So, yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to add at all? Or?
I don't think we talked about the support groups, but
we have support groups.
Okay.
We have support groups, an array of support groups. Right?
Yes.
Roxy runs the LGBTQ support group. I do the music group, but we have support groups for veterans, the DACA students.
Yes.
We have support groups for a bunch of different things. So come check out our support groups. They're usually in the evenings throughout the week, and you know, recovery, intimate partner violence, anything you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, we have.
So we have those palm cards available at the Student Advocacy Center in the lobby. So if you would like more information, just drop by and drop by the center and grab a couple, grab all of them, grab one of them, and check us out.
Advertise the support groups. Yes.
Exactly.
Really quick about the DACA support group, is it solely emotional support, or would they be able to find out information about like scholarships or monetary support or anything like that?
So I work closely with one of the faculty members there at the Mexican American Studies, and we work closely, so if they want to get more information on that, I know where to connect them to receive that type of information.
Okay.
And it is a lot of the emotional support within that support group, but it's not just the emotional support. You know, it's the let's talk about what you're going through and what you've been through, and maybe I can get some ideas based off of that, and I know of this. So really it is a support group. Well, it is a psychotherapy counseling group, but it's a support group in the fact that our goal is not just to sit there and talk about feelings. Our goal is to create a safe space and a safe environment for us to just kind of let, like take our ties off a little bit and just kind of be like, this is what I'm going through. And if you hear somebody going through it and you've been through it, and you can say, this is what I did, you know. So really just provide that connection for students to just say, you know what, you're not alone in this. I know where to go, and this is where to go, And if I can provide that as well, or if Roxy can provide resources as well, that's what we're there for too, to facilitate that.
Awesome. Very exciting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for sharing that.
Thank
That
you.
was
Thank
a
you.
wealth
Thank you.
of information.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
And thank you for joining us today too, as well. Just as a reminder, here at College in Real Life, this is for you all, the student. You are not just a number here at San Antonio College. You are important to us. So reach out and talk to your advisor, talk to the Student Advocacy Center, talk to your instructors, find the help and the answers that you're looking for your questions. Thank you for joining us.